Who do you listen to on deeply personal issues, like the decisions whether to stay in the race or not?
Me. Look, I've been doing this a long time.
So a council of one, President Biden blocking out other points of view on whether or not to stay in the race. But Democrats' concerns over his age and fitness to serve, they are not going anywhere. Let's bring in our panel. Charlie Hurt, Washington Times opinion editor. Mary Katharine Ham, OutKick columnist and a Fox News contributor. And, of course, Jessica Tarlov. She's co-host of The Five. Great to have you all here.
Morning, rise and shine.
Okay, so I wanted to bring this up. The unity that you feel here at the RNC, and you can kind of feel it across the nation for the Republicans, right? Coming together. They feel like this is their candidate. This is their moment. They've got the momentum. Everything's going well. And the opposite is true for the Democrats. We just heard Bill Maloogian say that Vance talked to Kamala Harris, and he's like, yeah, okay, we'll debate. I don't think I would debate August 12th with Kamala Harris because she might not that might not be the ticket.
It is crazy. We have no idea. And and I get it. We're at the Republican convention, so obviously the Republican unity is sort of on display here. But, you know, the whole plan for Democrats is to portray Donald Trump as chaotic, divisive, and the party is disunited. What we've seen here is the opposite of that. And meanwhile, you have the Democrat Party where you have not only top Democrats in the media, you have top Democrat leaders talking about how terrible their nominee is. And so we have no idea who's going to be the nominee or the number two on the ticket. But the one thing I will say that I'm grateful for is that I think it's unified the whole country. The whole country wants to see a J.D. Vance, Kamala Harris debate. Democrats want to see it, and Republicans want to see it, and I want to see it.
Okay, but long before we get there, are Democrats going to put his name in a nomination at a very early date?
Well, there's a letter from a number of Congress people that's going to come out pushing back on the DNC for doing that. The rules do not mean that they have to do that early roll call vote. It's really manipulative. There's a very funny fight going on X currently between Nate Silver and Jamie Harrison, who's the head of the DNC, where Nate Silver is just saying, you're being disingenuous about this. And I think at this particular moment, and this links back to the Lester Holt interview where he said, I'm listening only to myself, that whether Joe Biden ends up the nominee or not, and at this moment he is our nominee, and he is our nominee who beat Donald Trump and has overseen a slew of elections where Democrats have overperformed. But you don't want to make people who have legitimate concerns that you have recognized to the point that you are getting on calls with members, that you are telling members, if you need to run away from me when you're out there campaigning, go ahead and do it. That is not commensurate with having this early roll call vote. And I think it's a danger to the party and our chances of being as unified as you guys are here today. I'm looking at you, Charlie. I'm not treating you guys as Republicans. In Chicago, well, I just want to be clear. They're news people. They're not here as partisans.
Well, the other thing is that you saw this desperation move by Biden yesterday, saying, okay, I got to not only save my nomination, try to win the presidency, I got to keep my left wing happy. So he comes up last night and says, hey, you guys got to help me. If you are with me and we win again, we'll put term limits on the Supreme Court.
I swear it is as if he was trying to think of something that, like, maybe the Vance pick didn't work for certain anti-Trump Republicans who are ideological. Maybe this will do the trick, right? The attack on the Supreme Court could do it. I mean, and to Charlie's point, this is a real contrast. This is a huge diversion from norms. I don't know if they'll actually end up announcing it, but the Democrats are in a real pickle. That's the technical term here. This is like trying to cancel a wedding after the invites have gone out. And like every single day we go closer to the wedding, it gets harder and harder to.
And you still have to pay the caterers.
That's what this roll call vote is. They're like, let's put the deposit down on the caterers.
Right, that's right.
To your point here, Dana, Biden's rescue operation, Leap Left to Survive. That's Axios. Since his disastrous debate last month, President Biden's embraced a laundry list of left-wing policy proposals, strong on the party's nomination process, and still try to limit spontaneous, unscripted moments. It saved his candidacy for now, end quote. This reminds me of an old school political move, an old school politician.
And a desperate one.
Who's reaching for anything on the shelf that's available to him.
And if you're having to run far to the left at this point in your political career, it is really desperate. But let's just stop for a second. The idea that a guy that has been in Washington for 50 years, getting it wrong for 50 years, suddenly comes up with the idea that he wants to put term limits On the Supreme Court?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
This is such a ridiculous joke.
And on the issue is people are worried about his age.
Yeah.
And yet he's thinking that the Supreme Court needs
that's the problem.
term limits, right? And also, just what about the money, Jessica? Because we know, money drives politics and campaign.
Unfortunately.
The donors are quoted all over the place saying they don't want him on the ticket. They don't want to give the money. And yet I imagine the DNC is out there telling Democratic voters, not only do we want you to vote for Biden for another 4 years, but we want your money, your hard-earned money. That's a kind of a stretch for me.
Well, there has been a lot of ink spilled, or digital ink, I should say, about how money has dried up. There was a big New York Times piece about $90 million that wasn't coming in from the top dollar donors. I was speaking to a Democratic fundraiser during Biden's press conference last week, and he said that he got a number of texts right afterwards that said, we're back in, that it was enough confidence to win. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it flies in the face of the Axios reporting that we are resigned to losing. That is not going to happen. Whether people are focusing down ballot or on the top of the ticket, the money will flow. On the lurching leftward here on the Supreme Court thing, I just want to say it is an overwhelmingly popular position for there to be term limits. And that's everyone. That's senators, that's congresspeople, and it's the Supreme Court. And part of what President Biden is proposing is to have ethics standards. And we do not talk enough about the relationship with between Clarence Thomas and Harlan Crow. What?
And Sonia Sotomayor.
Oh, what did she do? Her books?
Yeah.
Or Elena Kagan, who sent back bagels? Are you kidding me? These things are completely incomparable. And ProPublica has done incredible reporting on this. It has been under-discussed. And that's the kind of things that Joe Biden is talking about. And that does resonate with voters.
I got to get MK in here one last time here. This argument to the side. What about this moment last night? What about going back 8 years ago where it seemed like half the Republican Party was on his side, and now just about everyone is on board the Trump train?
Yeah, look, I think there couldn't be a more perfect recipe for unity. Unfortunately, though, it was traumatic what everyone went through. That brings everyone together. And you saw that last night. And I think Nikki Haley in particular is making a pitch that is specifically targeted smartly to a very specific kind of voter who says, and that line where she says you don't have to agree with him 100% of the time, that is every single one of these speakers is giving voters a path to Donald Trump. Like, look at the path I walked, including J.D. Vance, by the way.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Great to have you three. Thank you so much.
We'll see you tomorrow morning, okay? Set your alarm. All right. Thanks, guys.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.